Good evening everybody. A bit of sunshine at last, proper sunshine, and the horizon is looking pretty clear, I have to say. There's a lack of clouds, but you know, you can't have everything. It's looking reasonable. I'm about an hour and a half off sunset at the moment, and I'm coming to the pools. It's one of the three places that I really quite like the looks of, that I was going to focus my attention on during my time here. It really is just a short walk from the car, nice and easy to get to, and there's lots of other little shots around here as well. There's lots of sand patterns dotted about, lots of ripples in the sand, loads and loads of leading line potential for you to use. At the moment you can see the little depressions in the sand that I'm going to photograph with water in a little later on. Currently you can see the highlights and shadows creating some lovely shapes in the sand. Absolutely beautiful little spot. So I just need to find a good composition and then just wait around. Might try one or two other little shots whilst I'm waiting, but I need to find my key spot first, because every time the tide goes in and out, there's different pools are revealed. Some dry up and some stay wet, so it's difficult to pick one in advance. You've just got to come turn up on the tide that you choose and find one when you get here. But what a lovely spot. Just look at that behind me, really nice, and the sun going down right in front of me. That might create a little bit of a problem. I'll probably shoot at a slight angle, maybe off to the left hand side there. There's some lovely hills off to that side. I don't really want to shoot directly into the sun. There's not much in the way of horizon interest, so I'm probably going to shoot in slightly to my left, but really looking forward to this one. That's a nice one there. Let's get the bag off and start having a look around. So the real crucial thing to remember, and you'll see people mention this when they've been doing sand dunes or places where there's lots of snow, is you've got to be very, very careful when you're assessing where you want to take your shot. Right now the water's still receding. This little patch of water to my right is still connected to the open lock, and there's still time for the lock to dry up a little bit, for the water to run out and reveal more pools. What I've got to be very careful of, and this is what I mean about other people talking about snow and sand dunes, is that I don't go too gung-ho straight in looking for different compositions, because the minute I stand on any of those areas I'm just going to leave a big fat footprint. So I need to look at it from here and try my best to make sure that I can eliminate all the pools in the immediate foreground before moving forward. And then if I can't find anything there, I can then move over to the right hand side as the lock drops and check some of those out. But it's just a bit of a waiting game. I've still got a good hour before the sun drops before the horizon, but the golden hour is clearly about to start, so I could find something in the initial period and start shooting, but I've got to be very, very careful not to go out there straight away. So I'm 10 minutes into the search and I've found something that I'm really quite happy with. I thought initially I'd be looking at the pools more than the areas of dry land, but really quite like this one. So what I've found is you can see behind me that the camera's pointing at a sort of an island, a sandy island with two sort of rivers running round it. I'm probably going to have to take this fairly quickly and sort of get it done before the actual real light starts to get fully warm, because I'm a bit concerned that sort of the channel to the right hand side there might dry up pretty quickly, so I'm going to shoot this. But what I like is that the island's got a pointed tip to it, which helps to just spread your eye around both sides of the channels and lead your eye to the distant mountain in the background. Really quite a lovely shot, and because it's on wide angle and the camera's tilted down, it looks really quite powerful as a foreground. So I'm going to grab that one now. I'm going to stick a filter on, because at the moment the sky, I know there's not any detail in it, and that would have been lovely if we'd have had some cloud in there, but as foregrounds go, it sort of compensates for the lack of quality of sky, and it's a really nice shot. So I'm going to put probably a 0.3 or a 0.6 grad on and get that one in the can, and then try and find something else. So typically, true to form, the sun's gone behind a big fat cloud. It's always the way, it just never happens as you plan it. So before it did that, the idea was I was going to show you that shot being taken. And what I generally do is I always take a shot before I film it, just to make sure that there's one in the bag for situations exactly like this, where you know the worst happens, and if the sun just goes and never comes back, at least I've got something. If I tried to film it and do it all at the same time, it's very, very difficult. Just only got one set of hands, and it's just not easy all the time to do it like that. So I actually did take a shot, and when I reviewed the image, it's nice, but there are problems with it. So while the sun's just sitting behind that big cloud there, I'm just going to talk you through the problems that I have. I'll put the image on first. I'll put that on now, and then we'll go through. I'll give you a walk around what I think the problems are and why I've sort of gone off it a little bit. But it's not bad for a starter, and it's like anything. When you get to a location, you start with one thing and you sort of work towards finding the sweet spot, which is what I'm hoping I'm going to do. The real problem that I've got though is that above me there's no clouds, and this shot for me was all about waiting for the sun to go down below the horizon and underlight the clouds, because that would have then reflected all the light into the pools. Because I've not got any cloud above me, I'm not going to get any of that tonight. So the best I can hope for is that sun, when it comes down a little lower, that it does find a gap and we get some nice long shadows and soft warm light. That's what I'm probably going to get tonight. I don't think we're going to get anything better than that, but I'll put that image on now that I've just taken, and I'll just then talk you around why I've gone off it. Okay, so I can comfortably put my big fat footprints all over this now without worry of spoiling a composition. So the first thing that really is jarring with me completely is the lack of detail above the mountain there in the background. I put a 0.6 grad on, but it's just, all it's doing is it's just making the sky darker. It's not adding any more drama, and it's just making an empty space, still an empty space, just a darker one. So that was the one of the big things I didn't like about it. Secondly was when you look at the island and you start to analyse it in more detail on the image, once you play it back, is that there's lots of sort of ripples and mess that hasn't got any continuity to it. There's no what's the word? There's no order amongst it. It's all just chaotic. There's these little round blobs here. There's shells all over the place. There's lines here. There's holes, and I don't know. It's just all the bits in between that the soft light, when the sun shines lighting all the ripples up, is that it's really catching and enhancing all those problem areas, and that's the main reason why I've gone off it. Secondly to the problem with the sky there, but I think it's time to move on from this, and like I said, the light at the moment is pretty poor, so we can spend a bit of time looking for something new and leave this one alone. Okay, we're on. I've got a composition, and could you believe it? There's clouds. They just came from nowhere, and they started to light up. They look absolutely beautiful. I've not got any direct light, and the sun is still above the horizon, but I'm quite happy with that, because as I've discussed on earlier videos, when you've got a nice light foreground, I mean this sand is beautifully white. When you've got a nice light foreground, you don't have to worry about all those dark areas when there's no direct light on them. So it's looking fine. Sky is just electrifying. So I'm ready to go. What I've got compositionally, I've got a little bit of this pool just down here in the bottom left hand corner of the frame, and then I've got these 1, 2, 3, and there's a fourth one over there that I've just used to hold the composition together. The hills I'm using are those in the background there as my stoppers, but these clouds just absolutely dramatic. There's one or two issues. The pool over there has got some seaweed in, and there's a little bit of bladderwrack just over there that's just spoiling it. It's just not quite pristine. I might try and get rid of those. If the image is really worthwhile, I may well try and get rid of those, but what an opportunity it is right now. So I'm on round about 40mm in medium format terms. I'm at f16, and I'm underexposing the shot by almost a stop. With this camera, it seems to cope really well with shadows, bringing the detail out of the shadows. I don't want to burn out any of that sky, so it looks really dark on the back of the viewfinder, but I know I'll be able to bring it back out in post-processing. So here we go, 3, 2, 1. Lee 0.6 on the top. Oh man, that looks good. That looks really good. finally, after 7 days of not really getting anything that made me feel nice and warm inside that some images do, I've got one that's really doing it for me. Whew, that's a relief. I'll see you shortly. So as is often the case with me, I'm the last man standing. I think everybody else has gone home for tea. I was really hopeful for those pinks. I thought they might come, but they didn't in the end. Those lovely brooding clouds that are there just saved the evening for me, and I couldn't be happier. I think the shot that I've just got, you've seen it already, is an absolute cracker. I think it's got a lot of drama, mood and atmosphere, just what I love in landscape photographs. So I think I'm going to leave it there. I'm going to head back, it's almost dark, and have a quick look at this image that I've just taken now. Hopefully, fingers crossed, it's going to be a really nice one. But just wanted to say quickly, please subscribe if you're not already subscribed, like and share the films, and ring the bell for notifications. I've got another 6 days left on Harris and Lewis, so I think there's more to come from here, but I'm going to leave it now and say until next time, bye for now.